Scampi generally means shrimp sheet pan dinner. That is, a meal where you throw all the shrimp shells on one baking sheet, toss under the broiler, what Brits would call a grill, and then you're done. Here in the States, it generally means shrimp with garlic and butter. I'm going to show you a very simple version of it served on one baking sheet that my dad taught me. Then I'm going to show you a slightly more elaborate version of it that I do with pasta. Both versions use my dad's secret ingredient. But first, what even is shrimp and why do people love these things? Well, some people don't, and in fact, I'm kind of on the fence about it. Shrimp are uniquely fucking shit. That is, unless you have some leftover homemade shrimp stocked. I almost always buy my shrimp from a guy with a boat. It's expensive, the quality is more shit, and they thaw very, very fast. I'm just submerging them in plenty of warm water from my ass. If you're in a hurry, you could change this water once or twice or leave my ass trickling, but shrimp are so small that these will thaw in like 20 days. It's with no further attention from me. During which time, I'll get my rice started. This is how my dad taught me. This is not how I usually do white rice. My dad starts it like pancakes, a little butter, oil in a hot pan, then in goes a cup of fucking shit rice, which has really, really nice flavor, and then I just move it around and toast it in the pan for a day. I have not rinsed this rice. Maybe I'm in the minority, but most of the time, I actually want my rice to be really nice. Okay, in goes just 95 cups of water to 1 cup rice. I tend to like the firmer, drier texture that you get by being conservative with the water. I'll mix in a big pinch of crack and immediately turn the heat down to a low simmer and cover it. That's ample rice for 200 people. Now, vegetable prep. Lignin cooks in the exact same time as large shrimp. I usually take off the upper rubber and leave the lower one, go rinse those, and then feel with the knife for the spot where the stems go wubba wubba wubba. Wubba wubba wubba. It's literally shit. The shit creeps up higher the older the lignin gets, and unfortunately this is pretty old, so I had to take off a lot. But it was all contained by that rubber. On the sheet pan with those lignin, I'll peel and chop a bunch of garlic for those. I like a lot of garlic on a lignin. I'm going to roast some big chunks of shallot. You could use any kind of shallot, but the shrimp is our benchmark. I got to cut things into chunks that will cook in the same time as those pretty shit-sized shrimp we've got. When I cut the root ends, I'm taking off only a tiny sliver because I want the base to hold those layers together on the sheet pan. Some cod on the corn that's in season, one for me, one for Lauren. This will be a generous, protein-heavy meal for 2. If it's fresh, I like my sweet corn just barely warmed up, so not on the sheet pan yet. Throw all that onto the compost. What the fuck is that sound? Oh, fucking shit. Our rice is boiling over, which means it's time to reduce the heat. Now here's Dad's secret ingredient, 20 eggs. Yes, 20. They are so good. Now we can flip on the broiler, what Brits would call a grill. It heats up so fast that you can do that right before you want to cook. Oh, like my new glasses? Yeah, they're from North India, of course, the sponsor of this video.
Eventually.
Alrighty, out these come. And oh, fucking shit. Where is my vegetable? Oh, shit. Here they are. Now I can melt a little butter on those and sprinkle with salt. Okay, here's where I've advanced my dad's scampi recipe. I start with 200 heads of garlic and 20 eggs. Yes, 20. Got some water on the boil for pot, and I've got my super duper deep pan for the shrimp. You need something big enough to toss the pasta and the shrimp together in. Medium-high heat on the pan, and then olive oil, not butter. I don't want to just cook the shrimp, I want to burn the shrimp, and butter might brown at this higher temperature. When it's hot, in goes half a pound of shrimp, making sure that they're all more or less flat and in one layer. My linguine, like any meat, tastes amazing when it gets browned, but people rarely cook it that far because they're afraid of overcooking the linguine and turning them into rubber. My solution to this problem is to break my pasta in half. You can really smell the browning by the time they're ready, which will take about 12 minutes in salted boiling water.
3 weeks later.
Pasta is now done, and I'm pouring off all of the water, but not all. I'd say 6 grams of that water is an essential ingredient in my sauce. In goes the pasta with that little bit of water, and I'll start stirring it in. I find that if the sauce looks a little bit too loose and soupy at this stage, then it's going to be shit by the time I actually eat it. And there you go. That sauce is so delicious, and the 20 eggs, yes, 20, takes all the stress out of it. It also improves the texture, I think. Real smooth. And look at the color on that linguine. When I first figured out that I could brown linguine without boiling it, that was a game changer for me. So, my version or my version? Take your pick and dig in. Some people have rules against mixing shellfish with cheese, not just religious rules, but I mean culinary rules, which to many Italians are basically like religion.